So is your work authorization a contract? Well, maybe. What is a contract? Well, your old Uncle Ed is here to explain it, and hopefully we can make a little sense out of this. A contract in general terms is something which is basically an agreement between two parties or more than two parties, which is intended to have legal consequences. If we have a work authorization that does not explain that a customer is responsible for paying a certain amount of money, then there is an argument that it is not a contract because it does not convey that the customer intended for it to have legal consequences. So, as a general matter, courts will look to documents in order to decide whether or not they are contracts by looking to see if the parties are identified and if the obligations of the parties are explained in a reasonably definite and specific way. I want you to think of it like this. When you go into a restaurant and you place an order with a server, the server's going to write down your order on the ticket and take the ticket into the kitchen and present it to the chef. The chef is only going to prepare what's written on the ticket. If you order a steak and potatoes, but you forget to order the Brussels sprouts, you're just going to get the steak and potatoes and not the Brussels sprouts. Well, think of your contract in the same way. When you go to court and you present your contract to the judge or the jury, they're going to look at it in the way that a chef would look at a ticket in a kitchen and say, okay, what is on here that we are supposed to give this person? Your contract is kind of like your wish list of what you would want the court to give you in the event that you have a dispute with a customer. Customer is, for example, unwilling to pay. I know it's a hard scenario to imagine, but just stick with me for a minute. And the contract explains what the court is supposed to give you. The traditional work authorization says that the service provider is authorized to come in and perform the work, and that the policyholder is instructing the insurance company to make a check payable to the service provider. And if it says just work authorization on it, and it doesn't have any more terms to it, the typical policyholder interprets that to mean that they are not obligated to pay anything. I've only seen this happen a few hundred times in my practice. We're trying to collect money, and the people say, I had no idea you expected me to pay for this. I was just authorizing you to come in and do the work, and I was presuming that you were going to work for whatever amount the insurance company was willing to pay. So it's best, in my view, to have contracts that have the word contract in the title, or at least the word agreement in them, and never ever to refer to them as authorizations, but rather refer to them as contracts. I hope all of your collections are successful and that you have really good contracts. Talk to your local lawyer. Get your contracts updated at least once a year because laws change. And you have to be particularly careful with residential projects because many states have statutes that are specific to that state about what needs to be included in a residential contract, particularly with respect to disclosures of mechanics lien laws and the right to cancel, like the 3-day right of rescission. So make sure you're plugged in with a local lawyer who's well versed in these things and stay up to speed on it. And I hope all of your ventures are prosperous. This is Uncle Ed saying goodbye for now.